Opponent then exiles a Play with Fire, but they can't do anything with it because we're still protected. This is awesome. Wow, that's a thing themselves? Okay. So this is actually the really sweet part about this. So Sunset Revelry sorcery with Teferi's ability means we just can outplay it right now at the top of our turn here. That's great. Okay. We ping ourselves again. We can then play Big Teferi. We then just... Do we do this now? I think we're going to have to tick down just to get rid of their Chandra. We can't allow that to go off. So... Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yes! Hello, my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck tech, based again on the poll that I put out there, you all want to continually see more budget decks put out there regardless of whatever style we have. So also thanks to another viewer, they were asking if we can do a budget deck for Historic. Well, I'm going to do you one better. We're actually going to put together something that you technically can use for Historic, but I thought, can we put together a budget control deck in the Timeless format?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Well, that question's about to be answered, so join me today as we go into the Timeless format to see if it is possible to play an ultra budget 13 rare only deck in the most powerful format in Arena. This is Timeless Control. Longtime viewers of the channel know how we do it. We have to talk about the stats of the deck before we jump right into it. So, as you can see, we're playing a pure control deck. That means 0 creatures involved in completely. We're running, of course, white and blue colors. We're rocking 10 instants, 8 sorceries, 5 artifacts, 4 enchantments, 8 planeswalkers, and 25 lands. So as I mentioned earlier with the start of the video, we're basically playing a no-nonsense control build here for Timeless. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, this is definitely one of the much more challenging types of archetypes to build on a budget, and you're going to see why in a bit. Still, I do believe we can actually put together something, as you're going to see right now, how I'm going to explain how we get to victory with what we got to work with. So, starting of course in the 1-drop slot, we have our Portable Horrors, our early removal, and a Consider here that helps us surveil and draw a card. Nothing super crazy, but the drawing cards thing is going to be essential, which will explain our game plan in just a moment. In the 2-drop slot, our additional support will be Sunset Revelry here. Really awesome if we can get the maximum value out of this, as this allows us to, of course, gain some life if our opponent has more life than us. If they have more cards in hand, then we get to draw a card, and if they have more creatures, we get to put some tokens out onto the battlefield to help us, of course, sponge some hits. Speaking of having to sponge some hits, we also have a single copy here of Bayin Veil that can turn off all of our opponent's creatures to -2/-0 until end of turn, or it can be a tap land in a pinch. This, of course, as you can see right here, is of course one of those super cool cards and a highly underrated one I love playing personally. Ominous Seas. So let's talk about this card real quick for you. So this uncommon 2-mana enchantment just reads, whenever you draw a card, you put a foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. Then you can remove 8 counters from the card and then create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. Or you can cycle it for 2. So why is this card such a big deal? Why do I want to talk about this?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Well, that 8/8 Kraken is actually a key magic number when it comes to blocking select things in the Timeless format. Cards such as, say, Primeval Titan, Uro, you have also Orcish Bowmasters. Basically, a lot of the more powerful, more annoying creatures are pretty either beefy or they have a lot of ways of just pinging out weaker creatures. However, if you can put out there at least one of our Krakens, this basically will be able to chump block all day and also push through damage, putting a lot of pressure on our opponent. Yes, the only downside is we will need to, of course, get that many counters onto the enchantment first, but that's again why you have cards such as Consider and cards such as Sunset Revelry to hopefully draw some more cards. But of course, we do have a couple more other cards that can help us dig through our deck and get to this ability a little faster. For, of course, the remainder of our 2-drops, we have Dovin's Veto, an awesome catch-all counterspell for us that can't be countered itself. A single copy, I know it only seems weird to have one, but we all just need is that simple one of Faithful Mending here to draw some cards and gain a little bit of life. That flashback ability technically means you can cast it 2 times over. For the 3-drop slot, this is where things, of course, are going to get a lot more interesting for things. Seal from Existence here is another enchantment here that acts as removal that can be a little bit more catch-all removal for some of the more bigger things in the format. When it comes to card draw, we want to shut it down, so using Narset Part of Veils here can help us dig a little bit deeper into our deck for 4. Also, being able to have its static ability to prevent our opponent from drawing more cards can turn off cards such as the One Ring, as an example of one of the major problems in the format. As far as another really awesome card that now is no longer nerfed from the historic side, Teferi's Time Raveler here, this 3-mana Planeswalker really of course makes our whole game plan come together. So this legendary Planeswalker allows us basically to either tick up, where we can then cast any of our sorceries at instant speed, i.e. if they have flash, or you can tick down for 3 and then bounce back to someone's hand, either an artifact, creature, or enchantment, and then we get to draw a card. Remember, it doesn't have to be our opponent's card, it can be one of ours, which is actually pretty sweet for the 4 and 5 drop slot. You're about to see why I mean in just a moment here. Speaking of those cards, we have, of course, the One Ring. Because we are a budget deck, we can only afford one, but of course, that one copy, if we can bounce it back with Teferi, actually gets us a ton of extra value. As far as dealing with go-wide strategies and other scary creatures that we have a hard time dealing with, we have Supreme Verdict here. Can't be countered, but it does blow up the whole board, so it's great for us against creature-heavy decks. A single copy of the Wandering Emperor can also work, of course, as spot removal, similar to Portable Hole, but because it has the flash ability, we can just bring it in, tick something up, such as pumping up one of our actual Krakens. We can then put out a Samurai, or we can just sometimes exile something in a pinch, gain some life, and then help us stabilize. 5 drop slot, of course, is where we get one of our awesome and best Planeswalkers, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. You've seen me, of course, play this card a couple times in other decks out there, but again, one more time, tick up to basically draw a card, then untap 2 lands, tick down, of course, to bounce a non-land permanent back and then put it into an opponent's deck, or you can tick down to ultimate it at -8, and then whenever we draw a card, we, of course, get to exile a permanent an opponent controls. Very rarely, of course, you're ever going to have to do that -8, but ideally, just being able to get that card draw, and of course, that'll pump up the ability that Ominous Seas has to then get more counters on it. The One Ring, as I mentioned earlier, can help us with that. The bounce effect from Teferi Time Raveler can also then tick up a ton of extra counters onto that Kraken. And then finally, our one and only copy of Farewell. This is mostly more of our emergency eject button, where we can just then exile anything, whether it's artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or graveyards, if we absolutely have to on the top end of the curve. Aside from that, your land base is mostly going to be just a bunch of tap lands, because again, we are a budget deck, but again, we can work with some interesting things that are unique to Arena. I mentioned this card, of course, in a previous video. Port Down here in paper is actually a rare, but in Arena, it's an uncommon, so we're going to definitely take advantage of that ability, where it can come down untapped as long as we can reveal a plains or an island, so it's pretty sweet for us on our budget. The tap lands, of course, are going to be Tranquil Cove here. We have Lonely Sandbar, of course. We have a copy of Secluded Steppe. The cycling abilities on these cards allows us, of course, to then trigger off Ominous Seas, and that also means that is why these cards are great for us as we get into the later parts of the game. Of course, we got to have 6 islands, 7 swamps, and of course, the Field of Ruin here is your catch-all for the land hate cards out there, mostly going to be against creature lands in the format. Finally, of course, if it all falls apart, you will have at least your own creature land to work with, which is Hall of the Storm Giants here in the late game, where you have not only a 7/7 blue giant, that also means it is big enough to handle, again, Uro or Primeval Titan, but also it has Ward 3, so it does protect itself if we have to use it. But as always, when it comes to your sideboard options, always adjust based upon the meta. So with the current meta that's going around right now, I think this is probably the best options we can work with on a budget. Deafening Silence here will shut down enemy control decks. Obviously, this does hurt us as well, since we don't have any creature spells to play, but we don't really want to play super fast. We mostly want to play very slow and methodical with our control deck. You have Ether Gust here to bounce away some red or green spells, and then you can put them away. This also, of course, circumvents anything that cannot be countered. Against enemy blue decks, you have Mystical Dispute here. A Fragmentized single copy of that just to then destroy an artifact or enchantment with a mana value of 4 or less. Soul Guide Lantern as your graveyard aid as always. Since we do have a lot of black and red decks out there in the Timeless format, Devout Decree here is great for exiling creatures or planeswalkers and scrying. Test of Talents here can then counter an instant or sorcery, and then we can dig out the remaining copies and exile them out of our opponent's decks to prevent them from doing anything. And then finally at the very end, not again a necessary option, but I do highly recommend it, your only creature in the entire deck, Dream Trawler. This super awesome Sphinx can help us not only draw some cards, it can stabilize, it can pump itself up, so it's a great finisher for our deck if we do have to sideboard it in if you want to play best of 3. Is this plan even possible to do on a budget of only 13 rares in the most powerful format here on Arena?
Good question.
Well, there's only one way to find out, so as always, join me as we play some games in Timeless, and let's see how well our deck does. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Alright, my fire friends, here we go. We are playing here in Timeless our control deck. Can we get there with what we got? Let's see. Alright, so with that, we've got... Okay, we got a lot of Sunset Revelries. We got a little bit of removal, and we do have a Wrath. So I think as long as our opponent is playing creatures, we actually might be able to pull this off of what we got. Let's see. Alright, and with that, we will play Port Town now, revealing the island, and we'll pass. Okay, so, alright, we got tap land down, which is nice. Okay, so they got red, so what were they going to play? All the Storm Giants coming down. We will then pass here. Remember that again, when it comes to a control deck, you're just going to have to go slow and steady. Even though it is tempting to start throwing stuff down, we just need to see what is exactly our opponent trying to do. So looking at our lands, Eidolon. Okay, well, how do we deal with that? Well, in any case, we can then Portable Hole. That'll ping us for a smidge. We exile. Alright, and we pass. Okay, so I'm guessing our opponent is playing some kind of Timeless Burn deck against us. We can deal with that, right? Chandra, dressed to kill.
I won't stop fighting.
They ping us again. This does mean that what's nice is the Sunset Revelries actually will come in very handy right now, so this will be great for us. So, Tranquil Cove. We will play a Sunset Revelry just to get our life back up. The bane of existence when it comes to burn decks, as a burn player myself perfectly, is of course the fact that all you just need to do is keep your life total high, and we should be okay to just eventually run them out of gas. So that's all we got to do. Island. We'll play the One Ring. So this buys us a little bit of time, and we can start digging for cards. Ooh, okay, so we are in business now. We got Teferi here. This is great. This is also sweet because all we just need to do is just eventually bounce the One Ring back when we need to. Opponent then exiles a Play with Fire, but they can't do anything with it because we're still protected. This is awesome. Wow, they have to bang themselves? Okay. That's a choice, I guess, opponent, but okay. Put down another island. Very here. So slow down their deck now. So this is perfect. This is what we wanted to do. Wow, this is actually kind of working. Okay, this is great. So with that, One Ring draws us some cards. We will then pass here. Okay, so game plan looks pretty good right now. Our opponent can burn out Teferi if they really, really have to, but I think we should be fine. Reckless Impulse. That's fine. Okay, so they got a Lightning Bolt. Will they hit us with that bolt? We do have some more Sunset Revelries, which is awesome. They exile again. We get Monstrous Rage.
Think of something good.
They bolt our face. Pass here. Okay, our turn. This is actually the really sweet part about this. So Sunset Revelry sorcery with Teferi's ability means we just can outplay it right now at the top of our turn here. That's great. Okay, we ping ourselves again. Teferi. Pick up again. We don't want to get too greedy with Teferi here, because all we just need to do is just get to our answers, and we definitely got there right now. So with that, we can then play Big Teferi. We then just... We can do this now. I think we're going to have to tick down just to get rid of their Chandra. We can't allow that to go off. So... Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yes! Good old Azorius Control. Wow, again. Once you eventually build up to what you need, you then can overwhelm your opponent, and they basically don't want to deal with our deck. All right, my fire friends, here we go. Can we get there with our budget control deck? Let's find out right now. We've got a decent hand right here, so we got some early removal, counter spells, or Wrath. We got Teferi. This is actually pretty sweet. This is actually a good hand. It is a little tap land heavy, but I think we can get there what we got. So let's see if we can make it work. Play Once Upon a Time. Okay. So that probably means they're playing some kind of mid-range pile, probably with Uro, probably with wait, what's that card again? Oko? There we go. Yeah, that's the card. Either way, we're going to prepare for a bad time. Okay. I still feel like we should be okay, though. Opponent right now is doing their thing with their lands. So they got their Windswept Heath, they got a Kalani Garden, Snow-Covered Forest. I'm guessing a Field of the Dead deck is most likely what this pile is. We'll see right now. Garden is out. Yep. Alright, so with that, I think Port Town coming down tapped. All the Storm Giants can come down untapped, and then we have at least Counterspell Magic for a little while. They swing. Down to 19. Alright. Storm Giants, and we will pass here. Ooh, we got the Wondering, which is great synergy with Teferi here. How much time do we have before we can actually get to that point? There you go. Swinging again. Do they have a natural order? Is that what they have? They do not do anything. Okay, that's fine. So, tap land. Pass. This is going to be the slow and steady match, I'm guessing here. Because, again, what we need to do is we just need to build up enough land so we can get Teferi and the Wondering out and start rebuilding from there. Forest cycling. Getting rid of Generous Ent to get a forest. They sack the Windswept Heath. Gate to the Manorborn. Okay, well, our opponent is definitely building up their resources. Is it going to be enough versus us, though? We don't have enough yet for Supreme Verdict, which is awkward, but that's okay. Oh, they do have the natural order. Okay, so this is good for us. Dovin's Veto. Denied opponents. Okay. Whew. All right, so we're good for a little while, everybody. We're good for a little while. So with that, how do we do this? Okay, I think this is probably the turn where we have the portable hole. Get rid of the Kami. So they don't have a natural order target now. We really need some white mana sources to start doing our thing here. A Boreal Grazer. Okay, so they technically have another target now if they have natural order, which is a little scary. But again, we have time. Port Town. Not the tap land I wanted to see right now, but it's fine. So with that, let's Wondering now. This will buy us at least a little bit of time, because at least with this, they can't natural order for a turn. Take it up. Draw a card. You get an island. Okay. Okay, so at the very least, now we're set up with Teferi to start doing our thing. So as you can see, they can natural order, which is scary. We didn't have a counterspell anyway. But at the very least, we can protect ourselves for a turn. All we just need to do at this point is just start blowing up things. Guessing they're going to pull out a Field of the Dead right now. If they pull out a Field of the Dead, we are going to be in trouble. But I think we can try to see if we can find a way around it. Okay. Oh, they got a Blast Zone. Interesting. Okay, well, that's fine too. So here's how we do this. Teferi.
Right on schedule.
We will then take it up.
Here goes nothing.
We will play Tranquil Cove. Dig. We will... How do we do this? Okay, so we didn't get the white source we needed for Sealed from Existence, so we're going to lose Teferi next turn. That's okay, everybody. We just have to dig for our other big pieces, and we should be fine. Oh boy, okay, so if they start building up stuff, we have a Supreme Verdict still, so we have time. 2 Primeval Titans, yikes. Okay, scary, but this is still fine, everybody. We can still get around both of them. Field of the Dead. Oh, there it goes, everybody. So, we unfortunately do not have answers for both Fields of the Dead, which is bad. But we just need to find a way to get around everything else. If we can actually get our Ominous Seas, that'd actually be beautiful right now. Okay, so now they have all their Field of the Deads. This is what I was worried about. But let's see. Can we find a way around all this? We have to start digging for things here. Okay, so we get the Wandering Emperor. I guess we'll just keep that for now. And then Lonely Sandbar, cycling it away. Sunset Revelries. This does buy us a little bit of time, but not much. Okay, so with that, we will... How do we do this? Okay. I think for now, Supreme Verdict the board to reset. That buys us a little bit of time. Keep digging for more things. We will... How do we do this? Okay. Faithful Mending. There's our other 2 Teferis. So with that, what do we throw away here? I guess we'll throw away the Wandering Emperor. Okay. Where is our Ominous Seas? That actually really right now is what we need to get us a win here. Sooner or later, our opponent will run out of lands and Primeval Titans. So that's the only thing we just need to get around. Okay, how many lands does our opponent have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. Okay. They have 13 lands right now, so they have, if I was to guess, they have at least half their lands out, which is, again, scary. If we actually can get all their lands out, we actually can also get a victory that way, too. Alright. I'm going to try to keep going off here. So, again, a little scary. We just need to get to another one of our Wraths. If we can get to another Wrath, we might be okay. Excuse me, everybody. Okay. Alright. How do we do this, everybody? It's a little risky, but we're going to try. Where's our Wrath? That's all we need. A Wrath buys us time. On it. Okay. Well, we did not get our Wrath at all. We have our Ominous Seas, which is nice, but a little late at this point. Okay. Alright. It's all up to you, Narset. You have to help us dig for that land.
If you wish to surrender now,
This is it. Can we survive a turn?
meditate.
We do
and
not.
prepare.
Okay, well. We have, actually, we have one more shot here. We have one more shot. So, consider. Not a plains. Come on deck. We did not get it.
Well, this stinks.
Okay, so unfortunately with that, we did not get what we needed, everybody. I suppose maybe we should have bounced the One Ring instead. We can still take this down, but it's unfortunately not enough for us. We now lose here. Okay. We couldn't make it what we got, unfortunately, everybody. We just couldn't get to our extra wrath, so that was a bummer, but, I mean, it is what it is. Alright, my fighter friends, here we go. We're playing our Azorius Control deck here in the Timeless format, the most powerful format on a budget. Is it possible to make this work? Let's see right now. So we do have our Sunset Revelries, a little bit of removal, and a Teferi. So let's keep what we got. And we're going to hope that maybe we can get there with what we are rocking. So with that, we'll play Tranquil Cove first. Gain a little bit of life. Alright, Swamp. Inquisition of Kozilek, so this does mean that maybe we're going to lose our Sunset Revelry, or most likely Teferi. I'm guessing it's going to be Teferi. Yep. No surprise there. Okay, in any case, alright, so with that, Port Town revealed, so we show off our planes, and we will pass. Well, it looks like it's going to be another mono black mid-range pile, so joy on that. Okay, with that, opponent puts down another Swamp. Dark Ritual. Okay, well, here we go. They're going to try to put down Shieldred, I'm guessing. Yep, it's Shieldred again. That's fine. We can find ways around that. I guess we'll try. So let's see. Wandering Emperor. That'll be helpful for a little bit later. So with that, the Yin Veil down. And we'll play Sunset Revelries. Gain some life. Put some blockers out there for us. So, this does set up a little bit for later on, because what we'll do here is we'll just simply block. Excuse me again, everybody. What will our opponent do here? They're looking at our lands. Are they going to Demolition Field already? Oh, okay, well, I guess they do. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't really hurt us, actually. So with that, we will then get... The opponent gets a Swamp. We will then play... Okay, we get Ping. Another Plains. Wandering Emperor coming down. Do you have an answer? We will tick down. Getting rid of Shieldred here. Alright, so that buys us a little bit of time. We'll go swinging here. Just a flex. What removal do you have against the Wandering Emperor? Oh wow, they have March of Wretched Sorrow. And the Exile some cards. Okay, I mean, that's a choice. If they really want to do that. Swamp. The One Ring. Alright, that's also a choice. Mishra's Bauble. Alright, they look at our next card. They get to draw a card. We got our... Ooh, okay, well, this is a nice surprise. Okay, so this keeps us in the fight, everybody. Narset, take it down. What do we get? Okay, well, that's not exactly anything we want. I guess we'll get another Narset just in case. We'll play... We'll cycle Secluded Step. Alright, with that, no attacks, obviously, because of the One Ring. But now, our opponent cannot really do anything against us because Narset shuts down the One Ring. Unless they, of course, have Orcish Bowmasters. That's the only thing that really hurts us. Ooh, they don't have anything. Okay, well, that's good for us. So this means now we can start doing our thing here. Tick down Narset. Okay, we don't need any of the portable holes, but we'll take the Consider. Not much else we can really do. So with that, we will then pass the turn. Oh, they do have the Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, well, we have to Consider now, basically. Wow, they have two.
I'm in danger.
Okay, well, this is a little awkward. Okay. So with that, throw away the planes. We need a Wrath now. So that's all we need to actually shut this down. Oh, jeez. Okay, so this is indeed a little scary, everybody. But again, we will find a way around this. we will definitely find a way. At least we'll try. Opponent drawing cards. Okay, well, we are definitely in a bit more of a tighter bind now than earlier, because 2 Orcish Bowmasters is really tough to deal with. But as long as we can at least get to a Wrath, we should be fine for a little while longer. At least I hope we can find one. Loris. Oh boy. I actually have that now? Okay. That was not something I was expecting their deck to have, but okay. Guess we're really going deep on this. Opponent is digging for a lot of answers. They draw their cards. We draw. Okay, all the Storm Giants is nice for a little bit later on, so we'll put that down now. So all we just need to do now is we really, really need to dig for Wrath. That's what we need right now. Wow, we fizzled. No, this hurts us so bad. Oh, where's our Wrath? That really, really felt painful there, everybody. Okay, the best thing we can do right now is we have to portable hole at least 1 Orcish Bowmaster. So with that, 1 Bowmaster out of the way. Don't tell me you have an answer actually for the Orcish Bowmaster. March of Wretched Sorrow. Wow, they actually got their own? Okay. Not what I was expecting at all, but I guess they really didn't want it exiled. Okay. Again, we're really looking bad right here, everybody. Oh boy. I don't know if we're going to survive this anymore, everybody. Maybe we should have gone with a mono black control deck. I mean, mono black really is where it's at right now. Orcish Bowmaster coming back. Goody goody gumdrops. Okay. We need a Wrath. This is the turn, everybody. Can we get a Wrath? Come on, deck. No Wrath.
Well, this stinks.
And I think we have lost at this point. So with that, Cove, Sunset Revelry. We get some more targets to block, but it's only just delaying the inevitable, and our opponent can just Orcish Bowmasters in the way. Kind of cooked here. So with that, I think we're just going to concede. I know, it's super early to concede, but with what they have, we get punished if we draw, and we can't get our answers out. So that was unfortunate. Ouch. And there you have it, everybody. So that was Timeless Control for you for the format. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? I'll be perfectly honest with you. What you saw today was literally the best matches we had. And man, we just got creamed a lot. Honestly, mid-range mono black right now is extremely powerful in this format, and to be perfectly honest, they do have all the answers. They have Shielder, they have Orcish Bowmasters, they have Loris, they have, of course, Thoughtseize, they have Inquisitions. You basically get the idea. Maybe we should have gone into a Dimir style of black and blue. That'll be something, of course, we'll look at into the future for another deck tag. But to be perfectly honest, it's not that the control deck can't handle itself, it's just that you have to remember that with our budget, we will deal with an uphill battle. Still, as you can tell, even though we had a very, very short match, once we got the ball rolling with our deck against aggro decks, we are super awesome. Now, having said that, if you are interested in upgrading this into something even more powerful, stick around for a second, because those of you who are my true fiery friends will be able to see how awesome the deck can truly become. Now, if you do want to upgrade the deck and go all out with it, here's what I'm going to recommend for you. So your portable holes now will get removed, and instead you have the one and only Swords to Plowshare. Super easy, it's clean, and it will get rid of everything very easily. You obviously will not have to worry about the life gain, because again, we have many other ways of getting to victory. You of course remove your Considers, and then you're going to add in now Brainstorms if you want to. Technically, I realize you could probably don't actually need to use these. If you are fearful of, say, Orcish Bowmasters or Shieldreds, then maybe you can probably remove these, and instead you could probably put in instead Slice, Sleight of Hand if you do want to save just a smidge. Keep in mind, of course, these are going to be options. Again, it's not going to be absolute, and if you do want to use Fetch Lands, then definitely use Brainstorm. If you don't want it, that's going to be, again, your personal preference. In the 2-drop slot are other upgrades that will add in another copy of Faithful Mending now, and then we'll add in the one and only Counterspell. Similar to Swords of Plowshare, super clean, super awesome answer for the deck itself. And then you'll have in now a full set of Teferi Time Raveler along with your Narsets, so you can keep those as well. Keep your one and only copy of the Wandering Emperor, that's perfectly fine. Your Supreme Verdicts will stay as well. An extra copy of the One Ring, so in case if you have to bounce it back, if you don't have, say, your third your extra Teferi out on the field. Obviously, you'll want to have another copy of Teferi Hero Dominaria as well. This will definitely give you a lot more consistency with the deck and the card draw. You can then bounce away things a little bit easier using the One Ring with its -3 ability. Keep your one and only copy of Farewell, so again, this is what you have Wrathwise with along your Supreme Verdicts. And of course, as always, upgrade your mana base. I know I can't stress that enough, but of course that's what you have to do. So as far as the upgrades to the lands, you're now going to have a Castle Ardenvale. You have a Ajano Seed of the Empire. You're going to cut down on your plains and islands to make room for a Castle Vantris, an Otawara Soaring City, and of course all the dual lands that you can spare. So the Wastes, a Deserted Beach, Hallow Fountains, and the Pathway lands. This, of course, will mean you can make some room for Field of the Dead. I know. Some people out there are probably saying, Infernoman, I don't want to do this in a control deck, but it does at least give you a creature option to finish off your opponent if you really have to in a pinch. And of course, keep that one and only Field of Ruin, of course, for enemy lands that you don't want to deal with. You'll also notice, of course, we have now room for a companion, so Kahira the Orphan Guard here doesn't really do much except basically as a free roll creature that we could put in the sideboard and pull it out if we just need to finish off our opponent and be a slight bit more aggro. And speaking of the sideboards, you're going to want to keep copies of your Devout Decree for those black decks out there. Ether Gust, of course, to bounce things away. Keep your Test of Talents and your Mystical Disputes. For the upgrades going into the remainder part of the sideboard, Rest in Peace is now going to be your best option here to exile things, and then it makes it a lot easier for you to manage certain creatures on the board. You'll have now Temporary Lockdown. This ideally can be bounced with the Teferi Time Raveler. So say like if you have to deal with a bunch of those zombie tokens from Field of the Dead, put this down, gets away all the tokens, and then you can bounce it back with Teferi later on, and then recast it to keep using it as an ongoing wrath against small creatures in the format. Keep an extra copy of the Wandering Emperor here if you need to pull it in. You'll have an extra copy of Farewell, of course. And again, I do want to keep it, so of course, have your Dream Trawler here. But you can, of course, have that final slot as to whatever you feel like is necessary going into the Timeless format. And with that, that wraps up the remainder of our deck tech for today. So the only thing, again, I'm just going to emphasize one more time is Control definitely may seem on paper, pun intended, is looking a little easy to build because you just think to yourself, okay, well, you just put together a bunch of removal and then put together a couple finishers, and then you call it a day. But as you saw from today, the reality is, regardless of whichever format you're entering into, you really have to kind of modify and understand the nuance of the decks you're anticipating to build your control deck just right. It's even harder, as you saw today, because of the fact that we are playing, of course, a budget deck. Still, even on Arena with what we are working with here, I'm actually pretty satisfied with what we got today. And honestly, you have a ton of open room to work with in terms of building and upgrading this type of control deck if you are interested, of course, in playing more in a format like Timeless. So if you, of course, are a fan of control decks, if you're a fan of Teferi and many other planeswalkers out there who can really control the board, if you're a fan of the slow methodical style of Magic where you really want to take the time to really anticipate your turns and kind of play out the long game, definitely give this deck a try. And I assure you, for all the control fans out there, you'll have something great to work with here, so you don't have to break the budget immediately on what you're planning. You definitely have a road path to really upgrade into something extremely powerful down the line, and I assure you, you'll get your wins, and you'll definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!